So I am here at the Black River, not the East Fork, not the West Fork, just the Black River. And I'm attempting to find somewhere to fish. It's a very pretty trail, but per Arizona standard, where it says there's a river, there's actually a stream, and that stream is very shallow and it is trickling along. So good news is there's like nobody out here. I might run into some bears. I see some horse tracks. So worst case today, I just get to walk along a pretty view. Best case, I find some smallmouth bass. I catch them, I release them, and then I proceed with my day. So we'll see what turns out to be true. Might just be sensitive to this, but the hardest part of my day, and this says a lot, is lacing up my boots, because I feel like it takes a lot of intention to get the right amount of pressure applied, because I want them tight. I want my boots tight enough to where they don't slip, but then if I go too tight, then I'm super uncomfortable and I have to stop. And I always tell myself, well, I'll just power through, and I never can. So I don't know if this is like a solo experience and everyone else is just like, dude, just lace them up and go. But for me, it takes a lot of focus. The lords of the river have delivered. Just as I thought my day was going to be walking along a trickling creek, I come across this really nice pool here, and maybe I won't catch a thing, but at least for a short moment in time, I'll think that I can catch something. And you know what? For me today, that might just have to be enough. Talkers, I think there must be loading up these little bass in here around this time of year, because there's like a bunch of them. So I'm gonna move spots, hopefully I can get into something a little bit bigger. Living in Phoenix has scarred me, because as I walk through any sort of like taller vegetation, I'm just convinced that there's rattlesnakes along here, because that's something I just will not do if I'm hiking in the desert and there's a fair amount of like brush, especially that's providing like cover to rattlesnakes. I'm just like, nah, I'll take the high road, because that's just not a recipe for success. So I feel like I'm unnecessarily anxious. I'm like, every time I put my foot down, I'm waiting for those fangs to come out and just get me. I moved a bit further down the river. There's a bunch of these little, I think it's those little stock bass just jumping. There's an osprey circling, tells me he's either hunting these guys or there's other fish. A little bit further down, there's a nice, like, kind of looks like deeper pool. So I'm gonna move down there. But it's just nice that there's a lot of sign of life along the river. So I'm wrapping it up after about hour and a half. Today was a success. Caught 3 small fish. I think they stock up closer to the trailhead. I think they've been doing it here in the last couple of weeks, so there's just a bunch of these little stalkers. But I did see, even just a few minutes ago, a big, probably a couple pound, my guess brown trout jumping out of the water. So I feel confident there's some bigger fish in here. So if you had a day or a couple days and you really could get back in here, where away from the trailhead where things aren't fished, and you get maybe like 5+ miles back, I think you could have some really good success, because there's just a lot of really good pools of water that are good for fish, even if you're not fly fishing like me. I still feel like I could have been really successful spending a bit more time getting a little deeper back. So good way to get out here and just kind of test, see what this area is like. One of the better fishable spots in the White Mountains I've been to that's not a lake, because there's a few rivers, or there's a few different forks of the Black River. Each is the one, they're typically closer to town, so you end up getting a lot more people. And I've also noticed that there's just not a ton of water, and I haven't gone deep back in, so maybe there is pools, but I limited exposure, haven't had great success. Here's one of the first time I'm able to hop out, and within like the first 30-40 minutes be able to get into fish and actually have like fishable water. So that's why I'd rate this one a bit higher. It's a little bit harder to get to, which is why I think there's less people out here. So, and there's a really good trail that goes, I think it goes for probably 3.5 miles that way. And then the trail might end, and you might just have to bushwhack along the riverbed, which is, I think, man, it's fine if you're really trying to get back in there. Because like, even if you're looking like here, like the forest is like not super dense. So if you really wanted to get back in there and just kind of hike where you're close to the river, I think you could just stay along the tree line and be just fine. So it's a good spot. It's always good to come out here and catch fish, no matter how big or small.